Hello students and welcome to Lesson 3 Part 2. We're going to look at two more real-world situations where it does not show you a graph of the solution. You kind of have to interpret it without that visual. So the first one is, Kara currently has $50 saved for her family's upcoming beach trip. She adds $3 of her allowance to her savings every week. Her brother Carter has $20 saved for the trip, and he will also add $3 of his allowance every week. So y equals 20 plus 3x. When the system of linear equations is graphed, the result is parallel lines. Interpret the solution. Well, we know that when you graph a system and you get parallel lines, there is no solution. So we need to talk about what that means in terms of x and y. So we got to figure out what x stands for. Well, x is the number of weeks spent saving money. And y is the total amount of money saved for the trip. Now, we know that they're going to be saving money, and we know that they're going to be saving it every week. So they're going to be saving it the same weeks. But what's different and makes it no solution is that they will never have the same amount of money. Why? Because they're depositing the same amount as each other, but they started with different amounts. So the solution is Kara and Carter will never have the same amount of money saved for the trip on the same week. Let's look at one more situation, then we'll summarize. Paul is selling an antique online and choosing from two different websites. Each website charges a fixed fee to sell the item and a percentage of the final selling price. He writes equations to represent how much money he will make. Okay, so the money he makes is going to be y by selling an antique for X dollars. So what he sells it for is considered X. Paul graphs the lines represented by each statement and finds that the lines will intersect at the point 8460. What does the point of intersection mean in context of the problem? So this is where the two lines will cross. Remember, each line represents one website. So X is 84, and that's the selling cost. And 60 is the amount of money earned. So if we write that in a sentence, for both antique online websites, Paul will earn $60 if he sells the antique for $84. So let's summarize what we've learned. Our essential question was, how do I determine the meaning of a system solution in context to a real-world situation? So the first step is identify the solution and then describe what it means in context of the situation, and be sure to use the X and Y axis labels to help determine the meaning.